Welcome to Elevating Your Life, where each episode is dedicated to sharing valuable information, useful techniques, and empowering inspiration so that you can experience personal and physical abundance. Success and happiness are within your reach. I am your go-to gal who will help you find your happiness triggers and a true elevated life. I am your host, Paula Vail. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. And I am so happy today to share with you. He is fantastic in what he does for others. I am just really honored. And I have had the honor of interviewing this gentleman earlier on, and I had to have him back for this new show that I'm launching. I want to welcome today Willard Barth. He is a #1 best-selling author, an international speaker, business consultant, coach, and trainer. He has gone from a life of total devastation to being one of the leading consultants in his field. He is one that is a master of extreme transformation. And that's a perfect description of you, Willard. I love that description. It's so you. So welcome, Willard. Welcome.
Oh, my pleasure, Paul. It's great to be back with you again.
Yes, another fun show. Well, please share a bit more about your background and kind of what brought you to where you're at now, please.
Absolutely. So complete total background. One of the reasons that I'm considered the master of extreme transformation is I lost my leg to bone cancer when I was 8 years old. And that impacted me in a couple of ways. It impacted me in what you would label a positive way, as it made me a mega achiever. I accomplished a whole lot of things that people would not expect somebody with losing a leg to cancer at 8 years old to do. I lettered in high school football, high school wrestling, first licensed amputee motorcyclist in Pennsylvania, started making my living as a professional musician at 15, and had my first business by the time I was 19. But it also put me down a path where I was really self-destructive, drinking, drugs, all of the things that end up happening along that pathway. And when I was 20 years old, I was facing 5 to 8 years in jail because of things that I did while I was drinking and using drugs. And I then had to rebuild my life. So the background of it is I've been involved in the study of human behavior and personal development for 31 years now, on working on turning my own life around. And then 23 years ago, I started professionally applying that as a speaker, as a peak performance strategist, and then also as a business consultant. So 23 years of not only helping myself, but other people and also businesses overcome the adversity that they face in many situations.
Oh, it's amazing. You are such an example, Willard, of, where you can be, how, you can have challenges and you grew.
Oh, absolutely.
You developed, you grew, you overcame the adversity. And that's something you help others do. You help them overcome adversity. Well, let me ask, first off, right now we're, as we do this interview, we are amidst the corona pandemic. And, that's a bit of a challenge for everyone. Is there anything you'd like to say about that? And, and how that can also relate to any adversity that may come, because that's what life is.
Absolutely. One of the first things I do when I'm talking to my clients about this period in time is it's just an experience. It is just something that we're going through, and people are going to, just as with any experience in life, people are going to make of it what they will. It's not the external forces that determine what we become. It's what we do with our decisions and our actions. And this experience we're going through right now of coronavirus, COVID, whatever you want to call it, to me, all it is another circumstance that we have to operate under. So what I've been talking to a lot of my clients about, we were mentioning before the call, some of the business things, is that there are 7 fundamentals in business that you need to be focused on in any economy, whether it was pre-coronavirus, during, or post. Every economy, 7 things you need to focus on. Number 1 is your own mindset. What you believe about yourself, your product, your competition, your industry, your clients. And that is something we constantly need to be working on. And very important in mindset is not even just our own, but understanding the mindset of our ideal clients, the people that we're working with. And this experience that we're going through right now, it's a great opportunity, if people take advantage of it, to examine their own mindset, examine the mindset of their ideal client avatar, and pivot their business to be able to serve the needs of their ideal clients. And there's a lot of cases of clients that I've been working with recently that, by exploring the mindset of the people that they're dealing with, recognizing that the problems they had previously, the problems they have now, and the problems they're going to have coming out of this are completely different. So you need to speak to those problems and solve those problems for people. And then there are, again, the other 6 areas. All of them are just how you approach it in this economy versus a previous, and how you're going to have to adjust it in a future economy also.
Yes, yes. And I love that, because I would say really that is an important thing with a business, piece of your business, to be able to have your mind open with, what are my challenges now? How do I address them? How do, be open to, okay, this may be a new challenge, or this may be a new blessing, a new accomplishment. Where do I go with that? So really, it's a constant evaluating, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and especially, again, in business, again, paying attention to your mindset. But the part I've been talking to my clients a lot about is the number 1 purpose of a business is to solve your customers or your clients' problems. That's the number 1 purpose. The number 1 priority of a business is to remain profitable. Because if you don't remain profitable, you can't serve your clients and solve their problems. And what many people don't recognize is, as the industry changes, as the economy changes, I mean, I've said this before to you, Paula, I haven't said it on this interview, but there's a mantra that is part of the anatomy of transformation, which is change is inevitable. We are going to change. We're going to get older. Seasons change, our friendships and our relationships change, the economy changes, the marketplace changes. It's inevitable. We can't stop it from happening. Growth, as you mentioned, that's optional. Some people choose to grow when that change comes on, and they look for how they can grow. And other people cling on to the past, wanting it back, not looking at how they can do things in a new way. And the third part of this mantra is that transformation is a choice. And based on changes in the market, based on changes in the economy, when I work with people on getting their ideal client clearer to them, we get extremely, extremely specific on their ideal client, so you can see the world through their eyes. So you can understand, what are the opportunities they face on a day-to-day basis? What are the problems they're facing on a day-to-day basis? Because when it comes to marketing, a large number of people try to market to everybody, going, everybody can use my product or service. But they're missing connecting with the people who can really use it, because they're not targeting their message to the problems that specific person has. So the opportunity that's come up here is, a lot of people have gotten to step back from their business. We hear the buzz phrase, you have to stop working in your business and start working on it. And a lot of people, that doesn't make sense to what someone's trying to communicate to them. And what it means is, most entrepreneurs, most business owners are so caught up in the day-to-day operations of the business, they're putting out fires, that they never get to step back and reevaluate their ideal client avatar. They're never stepping back and readjusting their strategic planning of how they're going to go from where they are to where they want to be. They don't look at how they can actually put processes into place that will allow their business to run more effectively and more efficiently. And this is what I've been talking to every one of my clients about during this whole experience right now, is this is a golden opportunity for you to take a deep breath, step back, and fix those little pieces of your business that you normally don't have the opportunity to focus on.
Yes, yes. And something I've been telling my friends, how what this has done for me is actually, it's given me a chance to be more creative.
Absolutely.
Having to, reset some of the things I was doing, like my office being closed, but I can focus more on now my new show and many other things. I have become so much more creative because I've had the time to think about and create new venues and new ideas. So in a way, that's been a positive thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When people are telling me that they're bored because they are, being told they need to stay at home, I'm curious because I've been more busy during this period than previously. It's given me a chance to catch up on all the things. And like you said, I've ended up creating 2 new business opportunities that I'm developing and working on and launching. And I've got 2 more that have the potential that I'm working on because, like you said, the creativity's there, but also I'm looking at responding to what's going on. Again, whether it was because of, what was happening with coronavirus, or whether it's just the fact that there is new advancements in technology that's in our fields, we are constantly needing to course correct and adjust. That's why when I'm talking to people about business planning, I tell them you do not plan any farther ahead than 3 years because it takes 18 months for your business to go through a growth cycle. By the time you've gone through 2 growth cycles, the market has changed, your business has changed, the needs of your ideal client avatar has changed. So at the end of 3 years, you need to reevaluate and readjust anyways. So this has been a great opportunity. And I'm not looking to be Pollyanna about this. Hard economic times are hard economic times, but we can curl up in a ball and cry about it, or we can say, okay, this is the reality of what's happening externally right now. And it's my decisions and my actions that are going to determine how I weather the storm and what's going to happen when I come out of it. So what I've been really focusing on with all my clients is, okay, imagine that you're 12 months from now. Where do you want to be in 12 months? And what do you have to put in place foundationally to be ready to be there in 12 months? And people will push back in any type of stress. Again, it could be stress of a downward stock market. It can be stress of, a time of the year where their business doesn't do as well. And they'll go, well, I've got to focus on right now. But if you're only focusing on what's right in front of you, you're missing the opportunity of getting ahead of where you want to go in the future.
Yeah. Oh, that's a powerful statement, Willard. That is. And we can do that. We can take the steps for right now and be thinking where I want to be and what I want to have happening in 12 months.
Yeah. Well, and if you reverse engineer it, if you go, where do I want to be in 12 months? That's going to dramatically impact the activities and the actions that you take today.
Yes. And actually, that's really exciting. That really is, that we can have that in our vision and have that making a difference. And I love that. I had really not thought about that. Okay, you make the game plan for your business and okay, it's going to roll for 20 years. That's going to be my business. Yeah, it's really about being open and reevaluating and being creative, isn't it?
I am all about having a 20-year vision of where you want to be.
Uh-huh.
And when it comes to strategic planning, I can't tell you how many businesses I work with that have no strategic plan of how they're going to get from where they are to that 20-year vision. So that's where, again, I talk to people about, look, let's start with a 3-year vision of how things are going to be. What are your revenues going to be? What's the size of your business going to be? How many employees are you going to need to have? What's going to be going on, in each of your revenue streams? What new products or new programs are you going to introduce? And we start with a 3-year and we're doing like the 30,000 foot view. And then it's a simple question going, okay, great. If that's where you're going to be in 3 years, what has to happen in the next 12 months to get you there? Mm-hmm. And then you start laying that out. And then you get a little bit more tactical and you say, okay, if that's what needs to happen in the next 12 months, sequentially, when are certain pieces of this going to need to happen? Well, if you're going to launch a new product line in 2020, There's going to be time going into creating that product line. So you're going to go, okay, well, I'm going to launch it in the fourth quarter of the year. I'm going to start preparing and creating it in the first quarter. I'll start creating the marketing material for it in the second or third quarter. You start looking at it tactically of how you're going to get to where you need to be. Then when you've broken it down to these quarterly milestones, now you get very granular on how you're going to make that happen. You're going, okay, I need to create the plan for this new product. So you break that down to the action plan. Well, what needs to go into creating this plan? Well, I need to sit down with Paula. We need to have a brainstorming session. We need to put everything on paper. We need to run that past the attorneys to make sure that everything, and you start breaking it down to the steps you need to take. And that becomes the roadmap that you're going to execute on. But most people, they just put out the 20-year vision and then go, I'll get there somehow.
Yes.
And you may or you may not, but business is not successful because you fly by the seat of your pants. Business becomes stressful because you fly by the seat of your pants.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. You are the plan maker. And really that makes sense because it's so easy to say, I want this, this is what it'll be. But you have to lay out those plans. And that's what you help businesses do. I know you've had businesses, you've helped them and they've seen as much as a 93% increase in business.
In one year,
yeah. In 1 year. I mean, that's amazing, Willard.
We've had another one since last we talked that they have made a 307% increase in their revenue over 3 years. So they've, again, averaged a little bit around that. And there's another company that we worked with that we took them from 15 employees and $32 million in annual revenue to 63 employees and 124 million in annual revenue in 18 months. Wow. And you know, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of planning, and it's really stepping back and looking at all of those 7 areas I was mentioning. I'll just say them real quickly. I won't go into to the details of them, but the first key to the foundation of business success is, we mentioned, mindset. The second is mastering your niche. How do you make sure that you are different than anybody else in your field? And most people, when you sit down and say, well, what makes you different than the competition? They say the exact same words that everybody in the competition would say. It's really about sitting down and understanding your ideal client avatar, understanding them well enough that you can solve the problems they have and actually guarantee them that you'll solve them. Find out what the biggest complaints are in your industry and go, I am going to remove those complaints from my clients' lives. And now you become the go-to in your industry, the only one that people want to deal with. So the second is mastering your niche. The third is the players, learning how to be a leader and how to be a communicator, recognizing that everybody that you interact with, whether it's your employees, whether it's your vendors, whether it's your prospects, they all communicate differently and they're all influenced differently. And you need to learn to become a chameleon in your communication so you can talk to them in their language that inspires them to take action and move forward. The fourth, this is one of my mentors. I met this guy 22, 23 years ago, somewhere around there. His name is Jay Abraham. He is like the godfather of marketing. And one of the things that he always said was there are only 3 ways to grow your business. No matter how complex you want to make it, when you break it down to its simplest form, there's only 3 ways that you grow your business, which means you increase your revenues. Number 1 is increasing your number of clients. There are many tactics on how you can do that, but increasing the number of clients. Number 2 is increasing your profitability per transaction, which means you have to know your numbers frontwards and backwards. What's your cost of acquisition? What's your lifetime value of a client? What's your cost of goods? Because you can increase your profitability by lowering your cost of acquisition or cost of goods. And then the third way that you grow your business is through getting your clients to purchase from you more frequently. So that, again, is another foundation. Doesn't matter what economy, mindset, mastering your niche, understanding how to communicate, and the 3 ways to grow your business are always present. They're always things that you focus on. Different tactics you'll use in different economies, but they're foundational. The 5th is strategic planning. You know, again, what we just talked about, being able to sit down and go, okay, right now the economy is volatile. There's a lot of things going on that cause volatile economies. We go through that often. So what do I need to change in my planning to get me to my outcome? One of my mentors uses a term called rigid flexibility. I'm rigidly committed to the outcome and I'm flexible in how I'm going to get there. That's where you adjust your plan. You don't change the outcome, you change the strategy you're using to get there. The sixth is about sustainability and scalability. Most people think they own a business and they don't. They own a job. Your business is not a business until it operates without you being there. And sustainability and scalability is about you putting the right processes, policies, and procedures in place that your business will operate more efficiently, more effectively, and that you can step back. Something can happen to one of your key players, God forbid, but the business will not be impacted because you put the processes and procedures in place. And then the seventh foundational key is mastering your sales machine. Sales is the fuel that drives your business. And in every different economy, Chet Holmes did a great thing on what he calls the 4 seasons of the economy. And they are 25-year to 30-year cycles. And he talks about you have to sell differently in each one of those economies because people are buying differently. So you need to understand your sales process well enough to make those adjustments. And this goes back to where we were talking earlier, Paula, that these 7 foundational things, it doesn't matter whether it's coronavirus, it doesn't matter if it's, anything that's going on. These are 7 things that you need to be focusing on in your business to survive and thrive any economy.
Yes. Oh, this is so fantastic, Willard. This is so fantastic. Oh my gosh. So many powerful points. And, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, my 27 years in the restaurant and then buying it. And then, but I really was on a low end. I did not know. I ran my restaurant and had a great business just because I loved everybody and they loved the food and coming in. But I could have done so much more if I'd had more business sense.
Yeah.
And what you're telling us is huge. How that could, I'm just imagining how many different businesses that game plan and that information, how you can help people. Please tell everyone, we have about 4 minutes left in the show, but please tell everyone how they can get a hold of you, to work with you, and then whatever last messages you want to give us before we say goodbye.
Sure, I appreciate the opportunity to do so. So you can visit my website. It's www.willardbarth.com. And on that website, there's actually even a button that you can schedule a call with me so we can discuss these things, because I do offer complimentary strategy sessions with people that let them know that I can bring value to their specific business. So we sit down and we talk about what's going on in your business, where you are, where you want to be, and there is no fee for that session. It's just basically you being able to get a sense of whether I'm the type of person that you want to work with. So that's really the easiest way to get a hold of me. You mentioned the book earlier. I still have a special promotion, I should say, going on to get the book, where it's The Anatomy of Transformation. It is what I've used to transform my life and what I use with my businesses. And if you go to Amazon, the book's like $24.97 or something. But if you go to this website, it's taotbook.com, the abbreviation for The Anatomy of Transformation, taotbook.com. You can get a copy of the book for just covering shipping and handling. So I think it's like $9.97, and you get the book and you get an ebook and all that type of stuff. Something I'd love to leave your audience with right now, I mentioned it in Mastering Your Niche. So again, it doesn't matter what's going on in the economy right now. People will tend to blame other things. Oh, my business stinks right now because X is happening. No, you need to take responsibility. If things are not where you want them to be, it's because of the decisions you've made and the actions you've taken. And I've got the major pushback when people say, oh, that's not true. When I lost my leg to bone cancer, I had no control over losing my leg. It was outside of my control. But every decision and every action I took from that point, I was responsible for. So ending up in jail was my responsibility because of my actions and my decisions. And turning my life around and going from that position of being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially destroyed to now having companies that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue coming to me for advice was also because of my decision, my actions. So what I invite you to do right now is to take a look at your ideal client avatar. And if you don't have it nailed down to where it's specific, get specific. You know, is your ideal client avatar a man or a woman? And people will go, it's both. I don't mean you won't do business with both, but your ideal client avatar, the person who is most profitable, who gets it to where you don't have to twist their arm, and who's the easiest and most fun to deal with, is going to be either male or female. They're going to be a specific age. You'll say, well, they're 28 to 38. No, they are a specific age. Because when you go through the process of identifying your ideal client avatar and you make it extremely specific, you'll find that there's a complete difference in the problems. Remember, the number one purpose is to solve your ideal client's problems. There's a whole world of difference between the problems of a single 28-year-old male who lives in the city, who has 0 children, who makes $150,000 a year, who rents, and you go on to all these other things, than there is with a 38-year-old married woman who has 2 kids, who lives in the suburbs, and they've got 2 worlds of difference of problems. And if you think that you're selling to everybody, your marketing message is connecting with nobody. So get clarity on who your ideal client avatar is and be extremely specific. And then ask yourself, in this current economy, and I'm not just talking, you know, the pandemic stuff, in any point in your life, just saying, in this current economy, what is it that's keeping them up at night? What is their biggest problem? Solve that problem for them, and then you will be profitable. And you, as long as you continue to address what their main problem is, you will continue to stay in business.
Oh, Willard, this has been so fantastic. Thank you so much. And I would, of course, would love to do another session with you down the road. You have
Anytime,
so much
it's always a pleasure
to share. Oh, Willard, thank you so much. Gosh, love, hugs, and blessings, Willard. Everyone out there, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you for joining us.